What is up, you guys? I hope you are doing well. Come on in. Get your seat, something to drink. We're here for our weekly manifestation message. We're using the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms deck. An oldie but a goodie. This was one of the first ones that I ever bought. I think that might have been the first one. And then there were two more that I bought that by that author at the same time. But I love this deck. So let's take a look at the week ahead to see what kind of intention and where we need to put our focus, what kind of energy we need to be exerting or saving. I do have a couple of Christmas parties to go to this week, so hopefully I'll be able to stay on schedule. So last 2 weeks I've been able to film before work, which I've been loving. Today I got called into work early to work a private party, so that was like a last minute change of plans, so I didn't get to film before work today, but I'll try to keep our regularly scheduled programming continuing to post in the afternoon if I can. So first card out, we have, oh my God, the map maker of destiny. Now, I literally, when I was setting up to start the reading, I almost used the other deck that I was just talking about, the Enchanted Map. It's by the same author, and I was like, I feel like the Enchanted Map card is going to come out. We have it here. It's the same card, but in a different deck, essentially. Authentic purpose, inspiration, and free will. I really think that we are in a moment right now where we are like tick by tick. If you imagine like the universe, the machinery of the universe, like the inside of a watch or a clock, and you've got all the gears. I feel like we're ticking right into the divine plan. There's something unfolding right now. We're closing big chapters. And we're moving into this next chapter. It's like we've been in sort of a limbo space for the last couple of years. We've been, undoing things and deconstructing things and taking things apart and unpacking things, clearing the grounds, laying new foundations, acquiring what we need to build the new framework for our life to come. And it feels like we should just continuously, like the last couple of years, it feels like we've been at our starting point. But we've been in this in between, right? Like think about as a story finishes in a book, pretend there's like a little exit chapter, right? Like a conclusion. And then the next book in the series begins with a preface, right? And an introduction. We're in that sort of weird phase where we're not like really into the next story yet. And it feels like we should be. And I think that we need to take into account that the rest of the world has been in their deconstruction and undoing and recreation and rebirth and resurrection and death and all of those things. And so it's not like everybody is started at the same time or everybody's in the same place. And so we're sort of waiting for everybody to catch up. It's like we're sort of like at a rest stop or at base camp, and we're waiting for the rest of the caravan to arrive so that we can reconvene and figure out, okay, how do we want to group up for the next leg of the journey? Who's going with who? What do we need to go forward? Which direction are we going in? Are we re-evaluating the plan here? So I do feel that as we conclude this Gregorian year and we're going into 2026, there's some really powerful astrology that is kind of shifting now, and it's moving us towards something really particular that's going to start and end a huge cycle. So there's a Neptune and Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries that's going to happen in February. End of February. And so this is going to end a 330-year cycle. and it's going to begin a new 330-year cycle in the sign of Aries, which is the beginning of the zodiac, and it's the sign associated with cardinal energy. And not only that, it's at the very beginning degree of the sign. So there's so much new beginning energy. There's so much like starter pistol momentum that to be had here. So the more that we can be present during the Christmas and the winter solstice and Hanukkah holidays, like all of these holidays have something in common. We're descending into the darkest time of year where we have sort of our undoing, right? It's like if you thought of the year as a character, it's like they're taking everything off. All the seasons are coming off, all the vegetation, all the growth. We're taking off our Mother Nature's taking off her bra and finally settling in for her rest. So we're all about to have a nice little rest for the winter, but this is an active rest, right? We have seeds planted. We're nurturing ideas. We're doing research. We're getting our ducks in a row. We're doing all that work that is best done, when you need to sit down and do concentrated effort. Since the weather is not very inviting right now anyway, this is the perfect time of year to go inward and to go deep, and not only to do the sort of like research work for our ideas and the imagination and the planning, all that, but emotionally, spiritually right now, this time of year, like, yes, we're planting seeds for our goals, but the darkness is asking us to slow down and be with our feelings. Our feelings are communicating truths to us. And this time of year, when it grows cold and dark and, people are drawing together for the holidays, it's like it makes us really tender because we feel on a very human, on a very carnal level exposed to the elements. Even in modern times, we worry that will our harvest last us through winter, right? These are usually thin times for most people, trying to stretch the resources through the holidays and then play catch up through the winter months. And so, we feel exposed. We feel stressed. We might be hard on ourselves thinking, oh, why haven't I done more by now? And you know what I mean? Like all of this holiday pressure and nostalgia and sensitivity and sometimes loneliness or sometimes overwhelm, it can have us, it can be the catalyst that makes us start to ask the harder questions in life that we might be able to avoid in brighter, sunnier times and busier times of year, or, in times of year where it's just a different mood, right? It's a lighter mood. And I think that we think about the relationships that aren't settled this time of year because everybody's getting together and you might run into that family member, that friend. And so you think about, the grudges and the arguments, the disagreements, the space that you have between people. We think about how we grew up and memories that we had, and things kind of come flooding forth. And so this is actually a really powerful time of year to surrender to those moments that present themselves. Think about the story about Scrooge, right? We're all kind of like Scrooge, and we're kind of visited by our ghosts this time of year. And the reason why Scrooge was able to change was because he actually gave space to the ghosts. Like, he didn't blow them off. He didn't ignore them. I mean, he couldn't, right? But we can. We do blow our ghosts off. The ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, the ghost of Christmas future, they're all trying to speak to us at this time of year. And, the thing is that it feels painful and it feels inconvenient. It feels like we don't want to deal with it. But this is the time of year where if we examine these things with a tender, open heart, we can really change. We can decide to change who we are as a person. We can decide to forgive that person for that thing and put it behind us. Miracles are available at this time of year, but we have to make space for them. And the way that we pay for those miracles is we get into that darkness. We go into our own darkness, and we look and we're saying, okay, where am I holding myself back? Where is my fear and my imposter syndrome holding back my goals in life? Where is my grudge or bitter feeling around the situation holding back or doing damage to this relationship in my life? And how is that relationship affecting other areas in my life, right? So if we are tender and we allow the Christ consciousness to be born in this time of year, and Christ doesn't come in this perfect package like we give these Christmas presents out, right? We give these Christmas presents out every year, and almost implying like, oh, Christmas, it's about buying into the idea that, we finally get everything we asked for just the way we wanted it, and it comes in this easily to digest, easy to unpack package in this beautiful wrapping paper with these beautiful bows, and it's all perfect. It's really not the way life is. And so if we can let our hearts be tender and even broken and feel all those feelings coming through, and we do that productively, and we ask God and the Holy Spirit, like, help me shift how I'm perceiving this. Let me shift. Help me. I'm willing. I can't choose the different thought yet. I don't know the different thought to choose, but I'm willing. I'm willing to have a different thought about this. I'm willing to feel it differently. If you can help me, if you can direct my perception and try to shape it the way that maybe God would perceive this. Or if if Jesus were here and he were talking to me, he would help me maybe see it this way or that way, right? So, the more that we lend ourselves to that kind of healing and change and transformation, the more that life opens up to us our next opportunities. But we really have to prepare ourselves to receive those next level opportunities so that we show up ready, prepared for success, and, having the emotional intelligence and the spiritual intelligence and the spiritual wherewithal to be able to contain and sustain that next chapter, right? What if you got your dream relationship? What if you met your dream person right now, today, tomorrow? Would your life be ready to receive them? If they were like, what are you doing? Like, you want to, let's go by your house and have a nightcap or whatever. Just the drink, nothing more, right? Is your house ready and prepared to have a guest over, right? Do you have weird loose ends you have to tie up before you can really let someone in your life, right? If your business were to take off, or if suddenly people were to start inquiring as to how they, get the thing that you make or book appointments with you, like, are you ready? Are you ready to get to show up and to be successful, to have what you want, right? Because it's like, when you're like setting up for an event and there's so much to prepare for, and the closer you get to it, it's like you start to lose your steam and your momentum, and everybody's like running around, and then all of a sudden everybody's just like talking and hanging out. We get distracted, and then you're like, oh my God, the guests are going to be arriving soon, and we still have these last things to tie up, right? And that's kind of what this moment is sort of offering us. I feel like it's like, okay, all right, everybody focus, a little bit of a healing to get us into this next chapter. But I feel that we are really being aligned with our authentic purpose. I feel like if life is offering you opportunities to change or to face something uncomfortable, or if it's irritating you in a nice special way right now, that is the opportunity. That is the assignment. And if we can sweeten this bitter pill, then the gift comes on the other side of that. So, map maker of destiny, that little map maker, he's kind of cute, isn't he? Okay, and what do we have next? Oh, sisters of the seasons, cycles of growth, natural law, divine order. So again, following right along with what we're saying, it's like the shifting of the seasons. Our life is shifting into a new season. And so if you're a gardener, if you like outdoors, right? If you spend a lot of your time outdoors, if you're like, do any kind of like hunting or sports or gardening, there's preparations and ways that we close out one season and prepare for the next. Right? If you're, a gardener, certain times of year, you're preparing your soil. Other times of year, you're letting everything just sit in the mess and letting it lie dormant over the winter and letting all of that breakdown happen. Right? When we're approaching spring, we're pulling weeds. We're getting everything ready to put our seeds in. Right? So what season are we in right now? Figure out where you are and act appropriately. But just know that if you feel like you're going crazy and that you're like, if I don't have a change come, I'm going to go insane. I'm going to fall into despair. Nothing stays the same forever. The seasons are changing. So I feel like we're right at the turn of a season of our lives. We're literally at the turn of a season now. We're finishing up fall. December 21st is the winter solstice. So I'm just wondering if there's something significant shifting for us that's aligned with the shift of the season, because we have 2 cards here that talk about divine order and authentic purpose, right? And those are interconnected. I love this for Sagittarius, and I believe we had this card last week, but we've got the Arrow Master, hitting the mark, intention, and detachment. So again, focus with intention, right? Don't let all your ideas and energy get super scattered. When you're in celebration mode, be in celebration mode, party. Don't be working through the party, right? This is holiday season. But when you're not in holiday mode and you're not doing things for holiday mode, like be present, fully present in holiday mode, holiday to the max, right? Don't be the person who's out seeing the lights with your family and then you're on the phone or like answering all the emails, or you're distracted and you're not present. So be fully present wherever you are. But when you're not going in another mode, right? When you are making time to sit down with things that are important to you, be in the moment, focus, use that time powerfully and wisely. Don't let yourself fall out of, all of your discipline and control here at the end of the year and then have to get all of it back together come the new year when you're trying to get your shit together, right? Try to maintain and keep your momentum even while we're in the celebration season. But don't lose your momentum. Don't lose all of the focus that you've already been putting in. Finish the year strong, but don't burn yourself out and don't miss out on the party. But also too, like the thing about the Arrow Master is that you can't hold on to control. You can't control every detail. You have to at some point let go and let the chips fall where they may. So don't hold yourself back from launching something, or don't drag your feet, or don't avoid like a few minutes to sit down and work on something. If you don't have 2 or 3 hours and you have 30 minutes and you're like, oh, I just don't feel like I could get anything done. Like use those 30 minutes, right? Like if you need to, like if you're trying to work out every day, but like your schedule was all topsy-turvy and you're like, oh, I don't have enough time to make it count. Like, yeah, you do. You can put on your shoes, you can set a timer, you can run down the street in one direction for 12, 13 minutes and then turn around and come back. And that's almost a 30-minute run right there. And you thought you didn't have time to work out, but that will be a lot better than nothing. And that adds up over the days, right? So that's just an example, right? But don't try to control everything and make everything perfect to the point that you hold yourself back from ever doing it to begin with. Like a little something that's imperfect is better than nothing. So be detached, give it your all, do your best, and then let go. Let the chips fall where they may. And what do we have here? The hungry ghosts. Oh my gosh. What did we just talk about? The ghosts of Christmas coming to get our attention. They're here to give us an important message. They're here to actually bring us a gift, but the gift comes through change, right? When Ebenezer Scrooge was visited by the ghosts, They weren't there to tell him, oh, remember all these perfect memories and just to remind you of how perfect and what a little cutie patootie you are now. It's like those tender feelings are here to alert us to a truth that might be difficult for us to face. But if we can face that truth, then that makes way for real change and real transformation. What is the miracle of the Christmas Carol? The miracle of Ebenezer Scrooge is that they took a Scrooge and they gave him joy, right? They didn't give up on him. The ghosts, they did their thing. They galvanized him to see, okay, you weren't always like this, and life did this to you, and it beat you up, and it turned you into this person. And you don't have to stay this way. But right now, at this current trajectory, you're not headed in the most ideal direction. None of us are, right? We all have potential that is hidden and unrealized. And so it's like, this is a wake-up call, a coming to Jesus moment, or Jesus coming to us moment, right? Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive her King, right? And to have that awakening, at this moment, there is like a mystical aspect of extra miracles during this time of year. It's with us in the preparing of the coming of Christ, right? In the Advent. It's with us in preparing for Hanukkah to connect with the light of miracles by transmuting our darkness. And same for solstice, right? We are using this darkness to go into that dark womb of creation. And it's almost like we're going down into the water of the abyss, like in baptism, where we are going into that spiritual death, that unbecoming, that cleansing of the ego self. And we rise up, reborn out of those waters of creation, reborn a new creature, right? So the hungry ghosts are here to show you what's eating at you inside. What is robbing you of joy and goodness in your life? What is draining your energy? Think about that. Obsession, scarcity consciousness, attachment, right? So what are the ideas that we're attached to that we can't let go of? What are maybe grudges or hard feelings or expectations of life that we're so attached to that we can't let go of, that are making us a bitter pill, right? Think about things that would soften us to just let go. Let it go. Let it go. Right? No one else is keeping the inventory, checking in like, hey, what about that thing you said? It's just you, right? No one else is like, got this attachment but you, right? So in your own private, quiet moment, you can just let it go and let that be that, and be softened and freed and liberated. It'll be different for all of us. Right? But hungry ghosts, are you obsessing over things at this time of year that you don't have, or that you want, or that you used to have and you don't have anymore? Are you obsessing over people? Are you obsessing over ideas that won't allow you any peace or rest? Can we let this go? Right? Miracles lend themselves to us during these few weeks, but it's like, are we going to take advantage of that window of opportunity? And I think that what is going to do the most for our actual material goals, whether that be things in our career or, calling in, romance or soulmate, maybe you want to, launch a product or build a home, whatever it is, whatever your goal is, we have to look at where we have scarcity conscious keeping us gripped, where we're obsessing. But I think that the more we change on a spiritual level, the more we can turn that negativity around and transmute it, then that is going to unblock what's holding what we truly want back, right? Think about when a kid wants their dessert, right? When they want dessert, they are going to try to negotiate through the whole meal. I want dessert. I want dessert. Can I have my dessert? Can I have my dessert? And what does the parent say? They say, not until you've finished your vegetables, right? Well, the healing and the kind of darkness and the bitterness and the sour notes that we need to look at right now, or the things that we need to forgive. I've got a Charlie horse. Those are our vegetables that we need to eat, right? And the manifestations in life, the things that we want, the sexy hubby or wife or life partner that you want to call in, the perfect house or apartment, the job, the thing that you've been wanting for so long, like that is the dessert, right? And so we can't have the dessert first before we have the vegetables, because if we get the dessert before we've had our real sustenance, then it's actually going to do more damage, right? We're not doing the healthy thing first. We're not taking care of what we really need first. We're just taking, the empty calories, the big treat, right? The big payoff. The big payoff isn't the thing that really truly grows our soul, right? And so we can't have our puddings until we have our mains. And the mains are forgiveness, overcoming fears, right? Learning to be more tolerant or accepting or understanding, learning to be more generous, right? Learning to have more trust and faith, take more risks maybe, or be more decisive, take responsibility for ourselves, clean up our habits, clean up our attitudes, whatever that might be. You know, because it's on your plate. You can feel it and it's tugging at you, right? These are the hungry ghosts that want your attention, that want you to deal with the thing that you've been avoiding, because that thing is the key to unlocking your gift. That's the key to receiving all the things that you want to receive. It is the talisman, or the initiation to get that talisman point to your next level. All right, so there is reward in our spiritual investment. So don't shy away from tender feelings through the holiday season. It's not just seasonal depression. It's not just the lonely blues of the holidays. This is a mystical, holy invitation into what can be profound change and real miracles, right? This is, if you are connected at all to Advent or Hanukkah or these winter holidays, your soul is calling to you through these tender feelings. So don't ignore them. Don't avoid them. Don't try to anesthetize them. Give them a little bit of space. Listen to them. Get your journal out. What are they trying to tell you? What are they asking from you? What are they hinting at you that they need from you? And this is going to open up the gates for miracles. And these miracles can range from healing to, having a sudden shift in your finances. Like, I've had times in my life where it seemed like every little thing was irritating and as hard as it can be and as inconveniencing as it could be. And if it would break, it would. It was like it rains, it pours, the plagues of Egypt. And then suddenly it's like, oh, I've had a breakthrough about something spiritual, and suddenly it's like that thorn in my side left the place that I work, and then everything else just starts to just flow with more ease, and all the things that were always causing so much friction is just like suddenly they just resolve themselves. Isn't that kind of crazy how that happens? It's not crazy at all. That's the way that the game of life is set up, right? These are the conditions of your level, making your level, like raising the difficulty level of the level that you're in, and that way you're more accomplished as a player, right? In the game of life, you're achieving a greater win, a greater victory. All right, you guys, that is all for tonight. So let's just do a little reminder of what we had. We've got the map maker of destiny. We have authentic purpose, inspiration, and free will. Now, here's a note about free will. When you're in the test, right, when you're in an irritable situation, it's almost like you're not getting to exercise your true free will until you kind of forget that you're in a test again. So you're in the game. You're not totally aware, right? So you're in the game, you're back in, you believe the simulation, and then the trigger happens. And spontaneously in the wild, you remember to pause and consider your actions before you just become reactive and affected. So you have the sovereignty to slow yourself down and not just reflexively respond, but to pause, to practice self-control and to think it through, to tune into your spirit and to consult your reason and proactively own your choice from there. That is free will. When we are in the experience, in the simulation, and things are happening and we're just going and we're just reflexively responding, that is affect consciousness, and we're not really using free will. We're just reflexive. We're just going to our default setting. If we are too aware that we're within the test, then that's not exactly free will either, because it's like taking the test with an open book. So it's like being prepared that there's going to be a test. So that way the information is so integrated and so learned that that is your new reflexive response. Your response is, oh, how do I want to handle this? It is to take a beat and to consult inside before you move forward, right? It's like when they talk about how if we didn't forget, if there was no veil, like after the fall of Adam and Eve, if we truly remembered the beauty and goodness and fullness of God and the fullness and beauty of eternity, there would be nothing to keep us in the body. We would not be attached to the physical realm at all. We would know the glory is so powerful and wonderful that there would be no desire to stay on earth. There would be nothing to anchor our souls into the flesh anymore. We would just drift right out. There would be no free will because we would know for sure how much better it is on the other side. But the fact that we don't know, the fact that we have to just trust or guess or take a leap of faith, the fact that we don't have all the answers to the test, or sometimes we forget that we're in the test, that is what gives us free will. It's organic, it's in the moment, it's spontaneous, right? So don't be too hard on yourself if you come through a test and you're like, oh my God, I forgot to remember that I was in a test. It's okay, you took the test fair and square, right? And now it's like you get to see where you authentically are in your growth, right? What's your nature? Is your nature changing, right? All right, so map maker, destiny. So that's authentic purpose, inspiration, and free will. We have sisters of the seasons, which is cycles of growth, natural law, and divine order. We've got the arrow master here, hitting the mark, intention, and detachment. And last but not least, the hungry ghosts, our ghosts of Christmas, obsession, scarcity consciousness, and attachment. Now, a lot of us can feel the scarcity consciousness during the holidays for sure. We have to spread our money. There's events to go to, even if you're not buying somebody presents, just to go to a party. It's like there's things that you have to bring to the party. Everything costs so much. So try to be able to be conscious and frugal in a positive way, but not so cheap with yourself that you can't celebrate and have a good time, right? Be as responsible as you can with your money. Don't be impulsive or lavish, but don't be so stressed out about the holidays that you can't be in the celebration of the holidays, right? All right, you guys, that's all for tonight. I will see y'all tomorrow for our weekly alchemy message, where we are getting our spiritual assignment, we are unpacking our approach to to the spiritual assignments for the week. So hopefully I'll be recording in the day tomorrow, and I'm in the middle of editing for the 2026 prediction series, guys. Today I was working on the quarterly breakdown of the seasonal readings and going through and getting journal questions and things like that for you guys. And yeah, after that I will be into the monthlies. Those will go faster because I've already written the questions out for those, so it'll be a quicker editing process. And then I've got to make our thumbnails for the videos and type in these descriptions and set up the playlist, and then I can list it in the shop, and I will let y'all know as soon as it's available. But I'm so proud of it. It's a really, really, really amazing workshop. There's some really key opportunities through the year and some very specific challenges that are themes that are going to be playing out through the year, just like they did this year, just like they did last year. And it's really clear what they are this year. And so I'm really proud of it. And I think that this is going to be an invaluable tool to give you a heads up for the year to come, give you a big overview, but also be able to go back and use and reference through the year as well. All right, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.